You may be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Ron.
This is a case of Fuel v. Burnett.
Thank you. Good day, everyone. Miss Fuel, you say that Mr. Burnett is refusing to admit that he is your biological father. You say the only reason he's denying you is because he would rather drag your mother's name through the mud than take responsibility for his actions. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Burnett, you say Miss Fuel has been given false information about her paternity, and she used that to badger, humiliate, and harass you. You admit to having a sexual relationship with her mother, but say there are many other guys and you couldn't possibly be her father.
Exactly.
Miss Fuel, so you're 31 years old. What happened that made you finally want to establish paternity?
Well, Your Honor, in September of 2015, my brother was murdered
I'm so
senselessly
sorry.
for no reason. And that really opened my eyes. I mean, I went through a deep, dark depression. I've lost 90 pounds just off of depression and stress, and it's opening my eyes. Life is really short. I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't even have to bring him here to prove that he's my father. I just want closure, Your Honor. That's all I want.
And you believe, Mr. Burnett, that she's just badgering you?
That's what I believe.
Why do you think she would even do that?
I don't have no idea really why. You know, she's been my niece.
Through marriage?
Yes.
So when were you told that she believed you potentially could be?
I've never heard of it until like about 2 years ago.
Really? So
Really?
You didn't talk
Really?
to my mom when I was
Never.
a kid?
Never talked to your mom about nothing
So the
until
night-
about 2 years ago. I was told by a family member and
What were you told by this family member?
that she looks like my family.
So for you, it just came out of the blue like
Yes.
that?
That's a lie.
But that's not how it happened for you.
No,
You.
my mom told me the night she was in labor, he was at a party and he was going around telling everybody, oh, Michelle's at the hospital having my baby.
That's a lie.
31 years ago.
That's a lie.
So she admitted to having a relationship with him.
Yeah.
I've never been in no
He was a grown
relationship
man.
with her mom, period.
So did you always grow up knowing he was your father, even though he would call you his niece?
At the age of 7, this same family member told me that he was my father. My mom never.
They lying.
So my mom never told me Walter was my father. She told me as an adult. She was embarrassed that he was my father. That's why she never came to me and said that. It was this other family member that told me that.
She's embarrassed. Her mom was the one that's known as the neighborhood girl. Everybody slept with her mom. All my friends did.
That's a lie.
Did
that's the
you?
truth.
That's what we're trying to
Yeah,
get
I
down to
did.
the bottom of. So
Yeah,
you
but
did sleep with her
yes.
mother.
I did, amongst 20 of them my friends.
So
How do you know that? Were you there?
They told me.
You did have sex with her mother. Do you know whether it occurred during the window of conception?
No,
It didn't.
not to my knowledge, no way.
But you were told that it did, Miss Fuel.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Your Honor.
And you were told that he is your biological father.
Then why ain't her mom here?
Were you?
Hold on. Don't come from my mama. My
I'm not
mama's
going
sick.
for
She's
nobody.
suffering from a loss. My brother was murdered. She can't handle this. I got this.
Let's reset.
Please.
Mr. Burnett,
Yes, ma'am.
were you around when her mother first found out she was pregnant? Do you remember that happening?
Yeah.
You do?
Yes, I remember it happening.
And so when that happened, was there a certain guy that everyone said, okay, well, he's the father, or she
Yeah, there's a white dude that said was the daddy.
So that was the word on the
Yeah,
street at that point.
exactly.
You all kind of just said, all right, then it's his.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
you said it's not.
I went on with my life.
Miss Fuel, did you ever hear about this gentleman being the person everyone thought was your father in the beginning?
Yes, Your Honor. He was a possibility, but clearly I'm not mixed.
Who's giving you information?
As an adult, I asked my mom, be honest with me. She told me that it was another possibility.
Miss Fuel, have you attempted to have a father-daughter relationship at all? Have you tried to establish a relationship with Mr. Burnett?
Yes, I'm the one who reached out to him. He even said,
She attacked me on Facebook is what she did.
Hold on now, what is going on now?
because he.
No, she made a comment on my daughter's page or something, and I was like, Toya, don't tell people I'm your dad when you don't know the truth.
No, Your Honor. His daughter right there, posted a meme that said something about fathers ain't. She can agree with that. She knows he hasn't been in none of his 3 kids' life either.
Whatever.
He's a deadbeat father.
Okay.
It's what I was told, and I commented 100. That's true.
Does anybody have any of these messages so I can try to make sense
Yes,
of
Your
them?
Honor.
I'd like to see them. Ron, can you hand me that evidence, please?
Here you go, Your Honor.
Thank you.
This is after her Facebook post.
So the first one starts, Mr. Burnett says, "Stop it, Toy. There ain't no proof. Until I get proof, I love you like a niece."
Your Honor, mind you, this is 2 days after my brother's murderers were captured. So of course I'm in my emotions, of course I'm in my feelings, and yes, I did badger him on Facebook. Yes, I did. I'm not gonna lie about
So
it.
let me go to the next one. It says, at some point you said, like you said, after all these years, does it really matter? Yes, it does. I need to know who to blame for my childhood, all the suffering I had to go through. Yes, it matters because I have siblings I don't know. I'ma prove you wrong, Walter. You respond, Mr. Burnett, prove your mama wrong, not me.
Period.
If you want more episodes of Paternity Court, make sure to subscribe and click on the notification bell.
We've never had no bitterness in our life ever, other than this, what's going on right here. I ain't got no harsh feelings towards her. I've always looked at her as my niece, and
But do you understand, Mr. Burnett, because of what she's been told, she believes you're her father, and when you
But
speak
she's
to her,
been-
it feels like she's being rejected.
she's been told. That's just like me saying that he's my uncle.
Well, I mean,
You know, he's not.
But listen, but no one in your family, no one close to you, no one you love and trust that knows you and knows the other person has told you that news. It's different circumstances.
Okay.
I mean, really. I know this may be difficult for you to accept and difficult for you to take in, especially since you regard her as your niece. But if you put yourself in her shoes for a minute, this girl is just running around trying to figure out who her real father is, and people have fed her a story.
Well-
And then you admit, yeah, I did sleep with your mother. In her mind, she's saying, well, it's even more of a real possibility that what they're saying could be true.
Okay.
That's how she feels.
I understand that, but how do I feel?
I'm disappointed that you on Facebook, as old as you are, engaging in nonsense back and forth with a 30-year-old girl that's your niece. If she did that, you should have picked up the phone and said, come on, let's go out to lunch. And we need to have a conversation about what's going on because we're not going to do this. Instead of going back and forth with a 30-year-old girl after her brothers died about something that you're so adamant is not the truth.
I wasn't aware of nobody died. I didn't know nobody. I didn't know he died.
What?
I live in Arizona.
I thought that
I didn't
this
know.
was like your niece.
She is, but I live
But
in
he
Arizona.
wasn't like your nephew?
J-
I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying you said you've known this girl all her life and it was like your niece.
No.
Word didn't get back to you, no matter where you live, that her brother had been tragically murdered?
No, not for weeks afterwards. I didn't. She's my niece. I don't really know her other siblings.
You didn't know the other siblings the
No,
way you
I don't
knew her.
know 'em.
Okay.
I don't know 'em.
So you did not get that information?
No, ma'am.
So when this was going on, when she said she was in a bad place because of her brother, you're not aware of that even happening at that point?
That's why it wasn't like a long message. I just made a couple little comments like, Toy, don't say nothing unless you know.
He told me that he was going to show up at my wedding and have the father and daughter dance with me, but he did not show up.
That's never been
You
said
never
to
said
me.
that?
No.
Oh my God. We're under
No.
oath, right?
Yeah, we sure are. I hope so.
You never told her?
No.
You never told me you was going to.
No, she's not my daughter. Why would I show up at a father-daughter dance?
Well, maybe because you were her uncle and you knew she didn't have a father.
No, that's not it.
So you never promised her that?
No.
Never had that conversation?
No.
You don't recall that?
No.
Wow.
Did you ask him because you believe truly that he's your biological father?
I didn't ask him. He volunteered. He offered. He said, I would be honored to have that first dance with you.
I was in the hospital at the time, so
When were you in the hospital?
it doesn't matter. I was in the hospital.
Because you're lying. You're a liar.
Whatever.
That's all he does is lie.
That's all I do.
Why were you in this conversation that led to him volunteering for this?
I was taking it up on myself to get a DNA test. He said, okay, I'm gonna fly you down to Arizona. I'll pay for
No,
half. I'll
that
pay for
never
half.
was ever
I'll pay
said.
for half of your fare.
Never
We'll
was
get
said.
a drugstore DNA test and do it that way.
No way.
all of these conversations you say never happened.
No, I have never said nothing about flying her to Arizona or...
You say you would pay for
No.
half of my ticket. Why would I
No.
have to pay for half? I shouldn't have to pay for nothing.
I shouldn't either.
You ain't paid for nothing.
I ain't
what
going
have
to.
you done?
There's
You,
no
haven't
need
take-
for me
you don't even
to.
take care of your 3 kids.
Yeah.
Mr. Burnett, I want to hear from your witness. I want to see if someone else can shed light on this. This story is a lot. Please stand, ma'am. Step to the podium and state your name for the court.
I'm Janae Johnson.
Ms. Johnson, you are Mr. Burnett's biological daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so, do you remember knowing Miss Fuel all your life? Was she like your cousin?
No, I knew of her because, like they said, they married into my family, but that's it. I knew who she was. I've
But you
never
didn't
had
know
any
her.
contact with her, like maybe like a barbecue or something where she was there, but it's never been like we have conversations or anything like that.
You weren't cousins, you didn't hang out together, none of
ma'am.
that. But you've never heard any rumors or things that your father could potentially be her biological father as well.
No, ma'am.
That's a lie.
Now, why are you saying that's a lie?
Because we talked about it on Facebook.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
But, okay, we talked about it, though.
And what did you talk about?
We talked about, she was just like, well, my dad told me that it could be many possibilities. Her whatever her dad fed her, she basically was talking about my mom too. So clearly they had a discussion about it. So clearly you knew about it. We
I
talked
never
about
said I didn't know about it. I just found out 2 years ago.
Now, did your father say to you that he was one of those possibilities?
Basically, he told me he had relations with her and there were other possibilities. He never said anything about him being the possibility.
But he did say to you, she's looking for her father or she believes I'm her father.
Yeah, so when I had reached out to her on Facebook, I asked her, I was like, hey, so I heard, you're saying my dad is your dad. And then that's when we got into our conversation, basically her just telling me her side.
Right.
And I told her mine.
And I can tell this really hurts you, Miss Fuel.
It does. It does. People don't understand. I suffered so much throughout my childhood. I went through so much. And I'm carrying it. My child was so rough. And I get to see him take it with these other 3 kids. He even took care of a child that wasn't his. I'm a possibility, so why didn't you at least try to find out if I'm your child? But you over here taking care of another chick's baby that ain't yours, but you want to keep telling me, oh, your mama this, your mama that. You didn't even try. Why didn't you try if you knew it was a possibility?
Because I knew
Stand up and
your
be a man
mom's
for
history.
your kids.
I knew your mom's history.
What about your history? You're worse than her.
That's your opinion.
No, it's not. It's facts,
I
man.
wasn't worse than your mom.
Yes, you are. You are
No,
today.
That's your opinion.
Oh.
No,
Okay.
it's not.
Can you hear her, Mr. Burnett? She's just saying,
I understand.
No,
I know that
nothing.
she's hurting.
No, you don't.
But until the truth has been told to us, you can't just say stuff. That's just like her mama just said. Her mama said, he's your dad.
No, she didn't.
She ain't 100% sure.
My mama told me that.
She's
she was
not.
real with me. My mama was real with
Yeah.
me.
Well,
And
Did she tell you about everybody else she
Yes,
slept
she
with?
did, baby.
All 20
Everybody?
people?
Yes, she did.
12, 25
you
plus?
weren't even conceived yet. Why are you
It doesn't
standing
matter
up?
here.
Why are you
It doesn't
standing
matter.
up?
I'm here.
okay,
You don't
listen,
need to be.
listen,
In our
listen,
feelings.
listen.
We're lying.
Wipe
Y'all
them
both
tears.
liars.
Wipe them tears.
Let's get some order. Miss Fuel, did your mother, when you say your mother really kept it real with you, I want to be honest. If she did sleep with other people as well, did she give you their names too? She did.
Yeah.
Did you try to contact those men as well?
No, it's only one other person.
No way.
This is what I
There's
need
no
to
way.
ask you. Are you here hoping he's your father?
I believe that he is. So I wouldn't be here because I feel like I'm carrying the shame.
I think that's very real because most people can understand how you can feel confused, how you feel like you were left behind, how you feel like he's rejecting you. It really touches me because that's a tough burden to have to bear for a young girl. You did nothing to cause this. You know that, don't you?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm happy that I'm here today with you all so that I can give you some answers because we need them. I have the results for you. Ron?
Your Honor.
Thank you. These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics and they read as follows. In the case of Fuel v. Burnett, when it comes to 31-year-old LaToya Fuel, it has been determined by this court. Do you want to watch Paternity Court on TV? Go to paternitycourt.tv to find your local listings. Mr. Burnett, You are not her father.
Apologize. I'm sorry.
Come here. Sorry.
I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. There's no apologies. It's all right.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Miss Fuel, are you all right?
No. But I will be. But it does bring closure, and I really apologize. I'm sorry to both of y'all.
Apology accepted. There's no apology needed, though.
You were only going off of something you were told. And if you had to get answers to be able to move forward, so be it. Do you want to continue to look for your biological father?
No, I can't. I'm not. No, ma'am.
I know this wasn't the news you wanted, but what I could give you is the truth. And that's going to help you. And sir, I hope after seeing what this young girl has gone through, your niece, a young girl you have openly called your niece, that you will check on her.
Sure will. It's the right thing to do, and I bleed in my heart that other things have transpired that her mom didn't tell her all the truth, and that's just, I believe. And it may be wrong, but we're here for the truth, right?
And you just take some time to think about it. We have counseling and resources for you all, okay? I wish you the very best of luck. Court is adjourned.